So next up, we have a presentation from BlackEarth Minerals with the ticker code BEM, a vertically integrated graphite developer. To tell us more, I'm joined by Managing Director, Tom Revy. Hello, Tom.
Hi, Jane, how are you?
Great, thank you. Let me bring up your presentation.
Well, welcome everyone to the update on BlackEarth. BlackEarth is a company which we initiated back in 2018. We listed on the ASX. We put our first drill hole down in March 2018. And we sit here today with one project under construction and another one completing feasibility in October this year. The board itself and management are well qualified in terms of delivering success in the graphite space. They've experienced in commercial aspects, technical aspects, Africa, project development, and of course, graphite itself. The company's market cap is currently about $27 million. Last reported cash position is $5.8 million, which is sufficient cash to not only finish the feasibility study and continue activities in Madagascar, but also to build the expandable graphite facility we're talking about in India in terms of our component of capital. So we're well positioned from a cash position and all bodes well for the company moving forward. So this is the company in a nutshell. We said from the outset in 2018 that we wanted to be a material player in the graphite global supply chain. And we sit here today with two assets. Our primary asset is the Maniry Graphite Project. It has all the right criteria to be a successful project. Its location, the quality of the resource and the upside that exists there, the simple metallurgy, the quality of the product and the future demand for that product, as well as timing. As I said earlier, the DFS is due to be completed shortly, and the plan is to have the plant commissioned in 2024. Our second project is the downstream project, and it's really the plug-in project, but it'll start first. We recently announced the financial investment decision by the board to commit to the construction of a plant in India, and that's now underway. And we're looking to produce about 2,000 to 2,500 tonnes of expandable graphite, and I'll touch on that a little bit later. The most important thing is that we're in joint venture with a company called Metachem, which is a proven producer, 25 years experience in the industry in respect to India. We already have a binding offtake for up to 100% of the product to go to Europe. And the plant is now in final engineering, and the commissioning is planned for Q1 next year. So cash flow this time next year. The graphite market, and I'll touch on it a bit more as I go through here, but it's got a looming deficit predicted for 2023. So our timing couldn't be better in terms of the development of these two projects. We've seen some significant moves in graphite pricing over the last 6 to 12 months. And that's across the board, from the fine material, the middle-sized material, and the coarse flake material that people hear about. And of course, right behind it is the electric vehicle thematic, which is driving the strong demand in respect to graphite, natural graphite material. As I said, the graphite market is such that at the moment people are starting to make a lot of noise. So from an investment point of view, we've heard a lot about the likes of lithium and nickel and cobalt, etc. But graphite's about, I believe, to have its day in the sun. Quality groups such as S&P Global, International Energy Agency out of the US, and Benchmark Minerals, as well as others, including Wood Mackenzie, etc., are all talking about natural graphite, the fact it can't be substituted in respect to lithium-ion batteries, the fact that the market could be in deficit as early as the end of this year. And you'll see that the IEA has basically predicted an increase in demand for natural graphite between 8 and 25 times from 2020 to 2040. And so where that material comes from, nobody knows, but I can tell you we're well positioned to take advantage of it. Why did we go to Madagascar? Well, we went there straight up. It was a targeted exercise for us. Madagascar rates very highly in respect of the major producers of graphite worldwide. It's been producing and exporting the graphite for over 100 years, so it's got ready acceptance by end users all around the world. It's the largest supplier of graphite right now into China. It's the second largest into India, and I believe it's actually the top 3 supplier into the US. So it's well accepted as a product and deemed to be quality all round. In terms of Madagascar as well, the fiscal regime is very attractive. Corporate tax rate 20%, current royalties 2%, and unlike other places, no free carried interest. So when we quote our NPV, it's 100% BlackEarth Minerals. This is just an overview. The picture on the left shows the tenement position that we have. It's about 20 square kilometres that you see there. We have a very large exploration target of 260 to 380 million tonnes over that area. To put it in context, we're looking to build a plant that's going to initially process 500,000 tonne per annum and expand it by year 4 to 1 million tonne per annum. So it gives you an idea about the prospectivity of the area and our ability to expand the plant even further in terms of throughput moving forward. We've only really explored a little bit of it, 10 to 15%, the total position. Those green areas you see on the map is all graphite outcropping, and those yellow dots you see are surface samples going 10 to 20% graphite. So the place is very rich in terms of graphite, and we have announced high-grade material, high-grade resources in that northwest area within that picture called Revy Northwest, which is going to be our primary feed when we get started. And of course, within that area of Madagascar as well, there are other graphite developers, one being NextSource Materials out of Canada. They should be in production by 4th quarter this year. Their market capitalisation, to put it in perspective, is over $300 million, and they'll be looking to produce about 17,000 tonne per annum to start with, whereas we're looking at somewhere between 30 and 40. We also have a 40-year mining lease already granted over the majority of our mineral resources. So that positions us well in terms of future development. Just a quick, I'm not going to go through all the details here, but as I said, the feasibility is targeted to be finished and released to the market in October this year. So only a matter of a few weeks away. What we've done is we've appointed key contractors, consultants who have significant graphite experience and Madagascar experience. That's why we've been able to accelerate the project as quickly as we have been able to do. Again, from a prospectivity point of view, you'll see the graph on the right-hand side. Our first drill hole went down on March 6th, 2018, and today we sit there with about 2.5 million tonnes total contained graphite within our mineral resources. Put that in perspective, the annual production of graphite is, or supply of graphite is somewhere in the vicinity of about 1.4 to 1.5 million tonnes. So we are a material player in regards to the natural graphite space. The 3 products that we're looking to produce are all high value, high demand products. The smaller, finer material is linked and has been tested to move into the lithium-ion battery space, which of course got a lot of press. The growth outlook for there, you'll see the bottom line on the left-hand side, is envisaged to be 25 to 30% per annum growth. And that's where the majority of that growth is going to come from in terms of demand for natural graphite. And we're going to certainly play a part in that, seeing our product is going to be ultimately about 30% or so of that material. The small and medium-sized flake is going to go into the refractory industry. And when I say refractories, I'm really talking about anything to do with the smelting industry, whether it's crucibles, whether it's furnace lining and the like. So it's got a close link to global GDP, steel production and demand, nickel production, copper production, etc. So it's all linked to global GDP. So the outlook is still about 1 to 3% for that area, and that's currently the biggest consumer of graphite in the market. The large flake material, which we've got the best part of 40% of our product will be, is got a growth outlook of about 7 to 10% per annum. So very positive from our point of view and highly leveraging in terms of revenue. So to put it in perspective, a finer material is currently in the order of about $650 to $720 a tonne at the moment for about a 95% product. The medium-sized flake size for the same sort of specs is around about the $900 mark, and the large flake can be anything from sort of $1,200 to up to about $1,800. So when you're producing a large amount of flake, it has a lot of impact, positive impact in regards to our project. In terms of the ESG highlights for the project in recent times, we've designed the plant to meet equator principles, which we believe is fundamental towards building a sustainable project. As part of the DFS, Gold has also found no environmental, social related fatal flaws in the project, which we're very happy about, and that includes access to water as well. We're looking to incorporate a solar diesel hybrid power system for power supply, and the solar will exceed 30% of the power production. We've also assessed the potential climate change impacts of the project moving forward in respect to the severe droughts that are in place, and that could mean water access in terms of fires, etc., cyclones, etc. And we've taken all those things into account, not just for ourselves, but for the surrounding villages as well. And the company continues to train and have a focus on training Malagasy personnel, both in country, but also in Australia itself as well. And we recently had a very positive site rehabilitation report from the environmental authorities in terms of the work carried out to date. So that bodes well towards final licence permitting approval. The graphite strategy includes the expandable graphite, which I mentioned earlier. We see it as a low-risk, low-capex entry into an area with not a lot of competition like the lithium-ion battery space. What it allows us to, total capex is $3 million US. So our portion of that $1.5 million, as I said, we're already cashed up to build that project, and we believe by October we'll be pouring concrete and putting up steel. In terms of material testing, it's been tested by tier 1 groups and also by independent laboratories. And this German laboratory in the bottom left-hand box says we could not find any restriction which would limit the application of this kind of flake graphite, which is great news. It certainly fills the board with confidence moving forward. The outlook for expandable graphite, which is the product that we're looking to make for out of the large flakes in India and sell into Europe, is principally aimed towards the flame retardant market. So it gets incorporated within textiles, within rubber materials, but most importantly within building cladding to prevent those high-rise fires that we've seen historically, where we've seen tragic loss of life. So it's a product that is growing in demand and really is limited by supply, because the world is focusing on fine flakes to supply the battery markets. But even in China, who historically has been the biggest producer, they're running out of that coarse material, but the world needs it. And consequently, we see current attractive prices only getting better. The location is going to be in Pune in India, as shown on the map. To date, you have to remember 12 months ago, we were in our initial discussions with Metachem. Today, we sit here with an initial supply agreement out of Germany to supply the plant while we wait for the Madagascar plant to be built. An offtake agreement for 100% of the product with Graphite Bergbau out of Austria has been completed. We've completed a feasibility study. We've actually acquired some land within Pune, about 5 acres in a special economic zone. So that comes with a whole lot of very attractive fiscal benefits in terms of developing and operating there. The engineering is currently ongoing, as you'll see from the pictures on the left. Survey works have commenced on site. And as I said, we believe site construction to commence in October, with commissioning planned in Q1 next year. So that brings us finally to news flow. So over the next 6 months, we'll be reporting on a number of things, but the key things that are going to come out, milestone moments, if you like, will be the completion of the Maniry Graphite Project DFS, which, as I said, is only a matter of a few weeks ago. Construction commencing on the joint venture expandable graphite facility. Binding offtakes, legally binding offtakes for the concentrate to come out of Madagascar, which obviously will help with debt funding. Commissioning of that joint venture expandable graphite facility, Q1 next year. And of course, we'll be reporting ongoing activities in respect to ESG and exploration. That's the presentation. Thanks very much for your attention.
Tom, as always, it's great to have you on. We've got a few questions that have come up, so let me jump into that. So does the company plan to enter into further agreements to expand the international graphite network? And if so, how would these potentially fit in with the existing strategy?
Yeah, I think what we've deliberately done is not gone too hard, too fast in terms of offtake. The leverage, if you look at where the market's come from, say 5 years ago, to where we are today, and the outlook moving forward, certainly is putting the leverage more and more onto the raw material producers, simply because of that looming deficit moving forward. We're thankful that we have David Round on our board as finance director, who's operated graphite facility in Madagascar, and he was responsible for international sales of graphite into Europe, India, Asia and the US. So we'll be utilising his network and his skills to expand it. And as I said earlier, that's part of the next 6 months to formulate legally binding offtakes.
Wonderful. And Tom, yes, we've been following the story since 2018. It's great to see how far the company's actually come now. But I think I might just finish off with, so what are you most excited about for the next sort of 6 to 12 months?
I'm unbelievably excited about where this project's going. I've been associated with a lot of projects in the past. People who know me know that I have a strong EPC and background. And when I saw this project originally, it sort of rung out as a real standout project. For us to get to feasibility on Maniry in 4.5 years, not just in graphite, but across any commodity, it's testament to the quality people and the excitement and the enthusiasm that we have in terms of our team. So moving forward, I'm really excited about getting through the next 6 months with respect to getting the Indian project up and running and generating cash for our shareholders. And also in terms of just completing the final dotting I's, crossing T's, so we can get on with it and build this magnificent project in Madagascar moving forward and get it commissioned by 2024. That's what excites me.
Wonderful. Well, Tom, as always, thank you for joining us on Broker Briefing, and a copy of today's recording will be available online in the coming days. Thanks again.
Thanks, Jane.